Issues That Matter Uniquely Singapore, F1 or F9, is a book recently released by Mr. Leong Tze Hien and a group of students from NTU. It covers issues from credit to education to public transport. We will now be sitting down with Mr. Leong to discuss the book. Mr. Leong, which is the largest housing problem that Singaporeans today face?
In November 2008, the question was asked in Parliament, how many Singaporeans cannot pay for their HDB flats? The answer was 33,000, which is about 8% of all HDB housing loans outstanding. That's about 1 in 12. Can you imagine walking to every HDB block and every floor that you go, every 12 flats that you count, one of them is in areas by more than 3 months. And at the end of the day, if they still cannot pay and they default, they lose their home, they may lose their life CPF savings as well.
In a time where the recession in Singapore is expected to worsen, what is some advice you can give to young Singaporeans who are trying to start a new family and to buy their first HDB flats?
For many Singaporeans, buying a HDB flat may be the biggest decision in their life. And in current times, they have to think carefully about buying a flat they can really afford. Because over a 30-year mortgage, especially for lower income Singaporeans, the probability of defaulting and not being able to pay, retrenchment, all that may be quite high.
Do you think that HDB flats are still affordable for Singaporeans?
I think for a large number of Singaporeans, affordability is really an issue. The answer given is always that the average Singaporean household is only paying 25% of income on HDB flats. But that is like saying the obvious, because those who can't afford wouldn't have bought a flat in the first place. And those who can't afford would have given up their flats already. So those who are holding flats today obviously would fall into the affordability group and just paying 25% less. I think those who have kept their flats obviously will be within the affordability of 25%.
Based on your observations, are Singaporeans upgrading or downgrading now?
I think many Singaporeans may be, in a sense, forced to buy bigger flats that they can afford because of many HDB policies. For example, if you want to qualify for a HDB concessionary loan, you must upgrade to a bigger flat. You can't buy a same size or smaller flat, because then you won't qualify for a concessionary loan.
Also your background.
What else do you think can be done for lower income Singaporeans?
In terms of the increase in bus fares, in percentage terms, the feeder bus services, the increase has been the most over the years. I think it impacts the senior citizens, the lower income most, because they typically will only go to the nearest place just to do what they have to do.
Should the government offer subsidies to lower income families?
Well, they already are providing transport vouchers, but the problem is that every time there's a fare increase, you give a transport voucher, but it doesn't cover the previous year's increase.
Do you think the government's push for better infrastructure is actually affecting lower income Singaporeans because they end up shouldering some of the cost as well?
Yes, you find that costs are going up, and if you look at the income data for workers, we still have 290,000 workers who work full-time for $1,200 or less a month. We have 120,000 part-time workers having a median income monthly of only $600. And of course, we have 70,000 people who are unemployed. You put these three together, you're looking like almost 490,000, or 1 in 4 of local workers who are earning $1,200 less working part-time for $600 or unemployed.
Where's the bus stop?
Do you think that Singapore's public transport system is truly working?
I've always suggested that it is a lower income who take public transport, so perhaps you should use the median wages rather than the average wage, and to use the inflation that is adjusted for the lower income rather than average inflation.
How does means testing affect the poor and the lower income in Singapore today?
Actually, means testing don't really affect the poor or the lower income so much, because you only apply for those with income above $3,200. But the issue here is why are so many people refusing to go to the higher class wards? One of the reasons may be because the last time the question was asked in Parliament, only 1% to those who went to higher class wards who applied for downgrading were successful. So you have a 99% chance of being unsuccessful when you have to apply for downgrading. Maybe that's why most people are, rushing to the subsidized wards.
The health minister recently said that despite the recession, Singaporeans don't really have to worry about healthcare because there's more than $40 billion in Medisave. What do you have to say about that?
Well, 750,000 Singaporeans and locals don't have any form of medical insurance. So if you translate that $40 billion, there are also a lot of Singaporeans who have zero or very little in the Medisave accounts. So the key here is, if you have so many people without medical insurance and they don't have very much in their Medisave accounts, what do they do when it comes to paying for medical costs?
This book, Issues That Matter, Uniquely Singapore, F1 or F9, is a combined effort of financial expert Leong Zihian and a group of NTU students, including myself, Alex. What this book aims to achieve is to enhance meaningful citizenship and develop insights on our national policies. Through this compilation, you'll better understand the policy-making dynamics in Singapore. This book can be purchased at any major retail bookstore at a price of $15.90.
I hope that Singaporeans, after reading this book, will be able to make more informed and better decisions before they buy their first HDB flat, before they utilize their CPF, before they invest, and so on. I also hope that it will create more awareness among Singaporeans so that there will be more discussion, debate about the issues that matter to Singaporeans and to Singapore in the future. I want to thank Alex, Liping, Yun Yu, Lionel, and of course Andrew for putting this book together. So, Issues That Matter, Uniquely Singapore, F1 or F9.